everybody. Thanks for joining us today for another Unilock web session. Really excited about today's topic. As usual, I'm joined by Jason Arsenault, and we're going to talk a little bit about the basic operations of a really great tool some of you may be familiar with called the ULevel. Hi, Jay.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Oh, hey, buddy. My pleasure. So Jay and I are both very privileged to be able to welcome in our special guest today, who is the absolute authority and expert on this topic, the tool's president and inventor, Mr. Mike East. Mike, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, gentlemen. I appreciate the opportunity.
Our pleasure. So I guess maybe just to kind of kick us off, why don't we talk a little bit about what the tool comes with, and then maybe we can jump right into some of the functionality of it.
That sounds good. You see the ULevel here in the case. The ULevel comes with the case and the monopod, all included at the purchase price. You also have the app is free, and there will be continual improvements coming out to the app. You simply download those like you would any other app on your phone. Unlike the competition, this is not just a level. This is an industrial computer that's designed to do the job of a level and so much more. It learns and adapts to the situations, the environment. So as we specifically designed this for the hardscape industry, we have uses and niches in this market that aren't in other industries. And this tool is designed specifically for the hardscape and the uses, and any way we can make your job easier. That's what we're aiming to do here.
Hey, Mike, can I make a suggestion? Can we change that monopod to unipod?
We certainly can, Jason, and we will even paint it red for you if that's what you want to do, man.
I like it. So just as we're loading up here, because I think the next thing on our docket's a live demo, right, fellas? Mike, are you going to show us how this thing works?
I think so. We can get right into that. If you want to jump into it, we'll take off and go with that here.
Beautiful. So as you're loading up your screen there, maybe I'll just speak over it briefly. You mentioned that a lot of the functionality and a lot of the items that we've added to the tool are specifically designed for the landscape trade, and you know that comes with the collaboration between us and Unilock. You know, obviously you were running independently prior, and you know, my understanding, you and Ray met up at a trade show, and you guys were able to really do some great idea sharing, and it's really brought us to where we are today with the tool, and we're super excited to be able to really show the capability and unleash this thing into the landscape field to help with efficiency and accuracy out on our jobs.
Absolutely. As you mentioned, I first met Ray Rodenbach. I may not say his last name. I'll just call him Ray.
Rodenberg, that's okay.
Rodenberg, all right. I'm sorry, Ray. Ray will get me for that.
He's probably not watching.
But I had barely scratched the surface of the hardscape industry. I sold a few levels there, but I set up a booth and attended Hardscape North America a couple of years ago. And Ray came by, and like I say, he's director of marketing for Unilock, amazing company. I was very blessed to meet him.
That's right.
Strategy.
That's right.
Marketing strategy. Okay, you keep me straight on this from now on. As Ray and I started talking, we started discussing the various uses and applications for this tool in the hardscape, specifically in the hardscape industry. And Ray came back by the booth another time or two, and as he would come, we would gain more insight into each other's businesses and how the hardscape, and as far as myself, as far as the hardscape industry goes. And Ray had suggested there's augmented reality, which is the distance for smartphones, to measure horizontal distances. I was working with 3D mapping at the time, but it was not at the top of my list of priorities. By the end of that show, 3-day presentation there, and talking with Ray about the hardscape industry and his expertise, been in it for a long time, that was bumped up to the utmost top of my list of priorities. And ULevel was born at that show. So this is a tool that's specifically designed for the hardscape industry. We have some of the best minds and gurus, 𝐦𝐨𝐥𝐸 Rodriguez, as far as I'm concerned. There's no level of expertise in the industry higher than 𝐦𝐸.
Out of Unilock Chicago, he's
head of training. 𝐦𝐸𝐥𝐸's had given me a lot of feedback into what he wanted to see in this tool, what it wants to do. Being an industrial computer, once we see that there's a need out there that's great enough to justify the engineering, we just roll it in, and it comes out free of charge to the Unilock folks in an update. So that being
Mike,
said, I don't want to ramble too much. We'll get into the presentation here.
Yeah, you've done a fantastic job setting the stage, and I'm just I'm chomping at the bit, as I'm sure our viewers are. So let's jump in, and obviously for the purposes of today's presentation, you're indoors.
Yes.
So bear with us, but it's more the functionality that you're going to be showing, and then we'll get into some detail after the demo on how this could be applicable in the trade and on the job site as well.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I advise the crews to do is please don't try and learn all of this on a job site where you're depending on this the first time out of the box. You've got gravel trucks coming, you've got crews that are trying to figure out all kinds of different questions and things, and you're going to be going everywhere. It's going to be frustrating for you because there's a little bit, we have to tie the ULevel in with the phone. We have to make sure things are functioning, and there's button functions and things that you need to understand. So my advice is do this. Set it up in your house. We're going to be using boxes to assimilate the grades. That way all the functions are working properly. Everything's talking with each other. You can send your emails and you understand all the functionality. You're close to a computer. You can email or text me and I can help you through this rather than getting frustrated on a job site with all the distractions that you have. Okay, from there, we're going to jump right in. You can see we have a compass active. This compass, later on, you will see this is a wonderful guide for orienting our plots to the existing landscapes that we are working with. The top left, you have 3 buttons. There's going to give you some options there. I'm going to run through this very quickly. You have a Bluetooth scanner. Anytime you upgrade your app, the phone and the level may forget each other. So you may at some time have to click on the Bluetooth scanner, and the generic name for our Bluetooth in the level is Laird, L-A-I-R-D. So if you ever have trouble connecting, go to this screen and connect manually. You'll just touch on the Laird. Once they connect one time, they remember each other. But sometimes when you upgrade, you clear all the memory out in that upgrade, and you may have to go back and reconnect. Firmware upgrades, as I said, once we come out with the new and improved, the latest and the greatest, you simply connect your level to the internet through the phone. Everything's uploaded just like you were uploading operating system in your computer. You can, of course, once you record your readings, email them anywhere in the world, which includes a design team, if you have teams working, in real time from the job site straight there. We have a zip function on that, so you can see where we can send this in zip if you want to, which is really compact and fast. We have engineering units. If you want to figure feet above sea level, we'll get into that later. Not everyone uses that, but this is so cool for those of you that do. And we even have where the level will tell you the measurements. You don't even have to look at the screen. If you've got your hands busy and the level sitting off to the side, it will tell you what's reading. Down at the bottom, we have the version of app that the phone is in. This is version 1.634. And as I say, as we make new and improved versions with new functionality, you'll simply upgrade the app like you would any other app on the App Store. Everybody good so far?
Yeah, so
Perfect.
I'm not sure that we mentioned this, but we're looking at Mike's phone right now. So this is an app on his iPhone that's connected to
Exactly. And this is a more advanced app. This is the beta test app. Everyone has access to this. Everybody can download this that wants it. There's some really advanced features in here that aren't in the standard app, which is online for everyone. So this app comes with a little bit of an explanation. I want you to read the explanation before you actually download this app and start using it. It does everything that the standard app does, and I advise everyone to download this beta test version. Like I say, it's beta test because we're still adding things to this. There's some things that you'll see in my app that aren't even in this presentation that have been added in the last week. Make sense?
Yeah.
Sounds great.
Okay. We're going to go from here. I'm going to connect the level. I'm going to put us in the next screen so we can see. And you're going to see me turning the level on. You can see all these little dots. What these little dots are, the system is actually learning the lay of the land right now. How far it is from the phone to the surface and how far the horizontal distances are. You have to let it learn this in order to use all the functionality. I'm going to turn the level on. When the level first comes on, you'll see the version of firmware running right down here on the ULevel. It only runs for a few seconds. I'm going to turn the Bluetooth on. You'll see the little icon here. It says we're connected. Now I'm going to go back and make sure that the level's connected. If you have any questions, you hit the top where it says press scanning. Okay, we've just connected, so you can see the same reading is on our phone in our app.
That seemed fairly quick and easy.
Very quick and easy. And like I say, if you have any questions with it, any problems with it, sometimes you in your phone, you can, some people will use their phones with the Bluetooth turned off. You have to have the Bluetooth turned on in your phone. But yeah, it's just like connecting to any other Bluetooth. So now, I'm going to put our starting point over here. Ordinarily, you would, the display would be on the monopod, and you wouldn't be able to see it. But it's going to make it a lot easier to explain if you can actually, if I've got it in front of us. That monopod keeps you from bending over. A lot of the guys my age and over appreciate that.
I thought we agreed
now where it's figuring out the label.
That's right, Jason. We did agree to call it a Unipod.
Okay. I'll have to get used to that. Once I paint it red, we'll start calling it the Unipod.
Right on.
Okay, I'm going to plot our first point here. You can see it recorded that as 1/16 of an inch. Now the yellow line that we're drawing over to our next section, that is our distance between points. I raised the level a couple of inches here, a little over 2.5 inches. I'm going to go ahead and record that reading. So you see that in green, that's our height. Now if we go back down this line, you can see that 1 foot, 3 inches and 5/8 of an inch is our distance between points. Now you can walk this out outside 200 feet if you want to. Typical accuracy on that is about 2%. Now from here, I'm going to go over to our next reading. Now in this next reading, I'm going to record a comment along with it. So we can just put tallest box and enter that. And that will be recorded.
Probably goes without saying, but that would be really useful if you're plotting on a landscape project, maybe an area near the pool or by the shed or side of house. I mean, you're putting in those comments so that you're really familiar with whatever you've marked when you go back and access the information, because all of that is going to export into the Excel file that you're able to record this information in.
Oh, it sure beats right.
Absolutely. It's great for reference. Now, what I'm going to also here, I'm going to put a photo in. We can put screenshots in. Now, you can see at the top right-hand side, that little camera, I just added a screenshot. That will be recorded with all of our readings. Now, I'm going to close this up. Now, we can go and put as many readings. What we've done is created the perimeter here. I'll take a picture of the perimeter also. We can record as many readings inside and outside this as we want, but we're really getting into the 3D mapping function there, and it's a level of complexity above what I want to explain today. So we're gonna close this up here. Now you can see on my screen, you've got your height readings, you got the distance midway of your lines between points, that's the distance between points. You've got percent of slope is figured into this. And you've got this file that we're looking at here is our X, Y, and Z for CAD uploads later. This is state of the art. All of this is state of the art. There's nothing else in any industry, anywhere in the world right now that does what we're doing here. It's some really cool stuff. Now I'm going to save that. Of course, you can put a plot down here. We're just going to name this, test 7, lucky 7. And then we save it. Now, once it's saved, we can email this anywhere we want to go.
I'm thinking my project manager, my foreman, my designer, potentially my engineer. I mean, this is one-touch stuff, and it can literally be in the hands of everybody who needs it within a couple of minutes. Especially for customers who are watching this who are part of a larger company or work in larger teams. This is a really easy way to make sure that everybody's on the same page. It's fantastic.
I was going to say.
Absolutely, and you do that in real time. I just simply, if I were on a job site, my engineer or my draftsman back at the shop would have this right now, so he can say, okay, dude, you left out some important information that I need. Over on the southwest corner, isn't there a water meter or something in there? You can go back and look and take photos of it. So you can bounce back and forth on this. There's a lot of advantage to this over the way you're doing it now.
Jason, did you have something you wanted to add there?
No, I just saw you said easy, and I said, yeah, where's the easy button? Like that was so easy to watch.
Really is.
Yeah.
I would like to say,
all right.
It seems like you've really tapped into the technology of the iPhone So I guess expansion is also fairly easy for you now that you've put the ground roots of the engineering in there.
Absolutely. Like I say, this is augmented reality. So this has combined the augmented reality of your iPhone, and it will be Android in the future. We have Android in the basic app right now, but it's not up to par with our 3D mapping. It will be at least late summer before Android comes up to par. So we're using the advanced
Mike,
augmented reality.
can I just
Yes.
can I just pause you for 1 sec there? Because I think it's important for everybody to know. We're gonna talk a little bit during the presentation about the difference between the regular app and the beta app, but even the Android functionality, even the basic app is still better than anything on the market right now. You're still able to take your heights, you're still able to import it into an Excel, and you're still able to share it with your entire team. It's the information's still accurate. There's still a ton of really great functionality. A little bit of heightened performance with the iPhone for sure, but I also don't want to discourage people who are in the Android market from using this, because it's still a fantastic tool, and it's still, in my opinion, a cut above anything else that's available on the market right now.
Oh, head and shoulders above anything else that's out there. Like I say, we're advancing this so quickly, I tend to downplay what we've already done. If we stop where the Android is right now, there's nothing else on the market that does that.
I just wanted to make that clear. Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yes, I tend to get tied up in where we're going because you're all part of that. Actually, your industry is helping create that. So my mind is always focused on the future, on what's coming down the pipe. You have to watch me and reel me in sometimes the amazing things that we're offering right now. And as Jason had mentioned, what we're doing here is we're combining the best of the augmented reality, which basically is built into your phone, and the height readings and functionality of ULevel to create a product that's beyond the capabilities of either separately. It's kind of like my company when I combined with Unilock. We took two wonderful companies, put them together, and have created something that's a notch above everybody else in the industry. It's a cool place to be right now.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
It's a symbiotic relationship.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes. Okay. And I tend to go really quickly. I've been developing this for 7 or 8 years now. So, have I left anything out of this so far that we need to explain before we move away from the live app?
No, I mean, we have some slides.
No, I think we pretty much covered
go over individual.
Yeah, I think the slides that we have coming up will cover everything else.
Right on.
So I'm going to give my screen back then.
Thank you.
Okay. You should have it, Jason.
So just to go into a little bit more detail, to kind of show a little bit more of the bones of this thing, we're going to kind of refer back to what you saw in the presentation and just kind of give you a quick rundown. So let's start with the actual computer itself, the unit that you're going to be handling for the most part when you're using the tool. And let's just start, Mike, just very basically, very simple unit, 2 buttons, instructions printed right on the top. But this is, we talked about how easy it was to connect to Bluetooth, and here's kind of a look at what that looks like. That was kind of off camera when we were following you on the iPhone.
Yes, what I have done as I've designed this system, I've tried to make everything as intuitive as possible. We only have 2 buttons here. Of course, as I have explained, the system is capable of some amazing things. However, if all you want to do is turn the power on and get your height readings, it's simple. You just click the power reading on. You have about 30 seconds to select through the different readings. The rest of the world, if you want centimeters, actually Canada, a lot of your people in Canada will be using centimeters. You can choose that with the power button for 30 seconds or so. You can also choose inches, fractions of an inch, feet, inches, and fractions. There's several different functions that you can use. Once you decide the measurement scale that you want to stay in, and you don't tap the button anymore, in about 30 seconds, that locks in so you can't accidentally change what you're doing as you're working on the job and you're handling the level and what have you. This is one of the innovations.
Super important to pick your path right away. Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah, pick it right away and it stays there. Whether it goes off or comes back on, or the next day or next week, it stays right there until you decide to change it again. If you've clicked it in the wrong one, or if halfway through you're working in this country, we use metric and also imperial sometimes on the same job. Just turn it off, turn it back on, and change over to the other system.
I'm just.
Oh, Mike, you're
the link there at the top of the screen. Mike has made a number of YouTube videos on all the functionalities. You can search for him on YouTube. It may be a good idea to take that down and check it out after this presentation.
We've also
Absolutely.
included, yeah, we've also included them at the back end of the presentation. There's a spot,
Right.
you know, Mike's got a great website, pretty comprehensive setup where all the links will be available there as well. So we'll revisit that at the end as well.
Yep. FAQ.
Yes, and one of the reasons we have our instructions. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I was talking over you, Jason. Go ahead.
No, you go. You go.
Okay. Okay. One of the reasons that we have our instructions online is because these tend to change also. You know, the hard copy that I put out with these 6 months ago is no longer valid. As we see different uses and different ways that the industry wants to use this tool, specifically designed for hardscape, we change it for the hardscape industry. So, you know, every now and again, you'll get emails from our e-blast and things that say, okay, this is what we've got. You don't ever have to upgrade this system if you don't want to. I hate that when my computer shuts down in the middle of the night. I've lost everything off of it that I had on it. You got to reboot and start. This won't do that. It will only upgrade when you tell it to. So you can look at what's on the new upgrades, and if you want to take that, you simply go with it. As far as the instructions here, like I say, you just tap power to turn it on, hold power for 5 seconds, turns it back off. On your 0 scale, hold that down, and that will 0 the level anywhere. For those of you that have never used these, you have the ability to set your reference height any place on a job site you want. You just set the level there, hold 0 down until it beeps. That became your reference point, and all of your other readings will be in relation to that particular point. To connect to Bluetooth, you simply hold the 0 down and tap power and you're in, or you hold 0, tap power and you're out. And to put it in range function, you hold power and tap 0. It's just reverse.
Perfect. So up on the screen here, we do have the basic app, the one that is more widely available right now, if you go ahead and click on it. But this looks quite a bit different from what we saw in the live demo, Mike.
This is what you're going to get
Yes,
on the
absolutely.
Apple Store, right, Mike?
Yes, if you go in the Apple Store right now, this is up. Anyone can download this app. You don't have to have a level. If you're a potential customer looking at this, scratching your head trying to figure out, download this app. You can download the other app without buying anything. I set it up that way intentionally. Once you download my app and you start to see how cool this thing is, you're going to buy a level. So I don't mind you having the app free. This is the standard app. It's got everything built into it that you need to record your readings, email your readings, and what have you. It doesn't have the advanced plotting features that I just showed you. You can have the standard app on your phone along with the advanced beta app both at the same time. One will have a little orange dot at the bottom. That's the beta app. You can't connect to them both at the same time. You have to connect to one or the other. But you can, you know, if you have any questions, if you're using this app and you don't want to take a chance on learning something now, you don't have time, you can download the other one, just let it sit there until you get ready to use it, and then just swap over when you get ready.
So the other app is the one that we saw live, and really, I mean, that's when you're going to start to talk about measure, like the actual perimeter measurements and things like that. But just as far as, you know, basic functionality and being able to email different heights, if you're looking to replace, you know, potentially one of the competitive levels on the market, or even a laser level, the other app's suitable. But the beta app is, you know, the height and functionality of that is pretty much ready to rock, and we can expect that that'll kind of take over as the standard application sometime in the near future. Correct, Mike?
Yes, yes. I have people that want me to launch this right now, but I'm not quite ready because I want everyone to know we're still developing the high end of this app. As far as the basic functions, everything's working perfectly on it now.
So Mike, it still is available though, right? So if I'm watching this and I want the increased functionality, it is available to me as well. It's just not exactly as readily available as far as going into the Apple Store and just downloading the application, right? So do you want to walk us through how we can get the beta app for free?
Yes, I have a website specifically designed for 3D terrain mapping, hence the name of the link at the top. I just want you to read this little beta test agreement before anyone has access to this. You don't even have to own a ULevel. Anybody can go to this site and download this app and start playing around with it. It does some really cool stuff. It'll measure horizontal distances without the level attached to it. But once you start playing with it, you're going to buy a ULevel. But I want you to read this agreement. What I don't want here is for a contractor to buy this, take it out on a job site who's never used it, get frustrated with it halfway through the job site because he hasn't figured all of the ins and outs and what have you, and doesn't know how to use it, and come back and start saying, okay, I bought this, I wanted these things, I wanted this contour map tonight, I bought it this morning, I shot this. It's not going to be quite that easy. You're going to have to learn this and play around with it just a little bit. That's why I say I want everyone to take this in the comfort of their home. Make sure you understand everything that works on it, get it working smoothly there. Email me if you don't, and we'll work you through it. And then gradually introduce it on a job site. It's just common sense that you would use with any new complicated tool. And it can be used as simply as you want. That's why I have this with the higher end.
So,
am I making sense there, guys?
Can I just chime in? I just wanted to add one thing there. You know, if you're watching this, you probably already know that there's no reason to get frustrated. With the level of support that we offer at Unilock, your territory manager is only a phone call away. Our contractor services team is extremely knowledgeable and excellent. They're willing to come out to job site and help you out with this. And Mike, the inventor of the unit, has made himself readily available. It's a straight line to the man who actually developed this technology. So, you know, the service and support that you're going to get, as you've probably come to expect, is unmatched. So
Absolutely.
No need for anyone to get frustrated.
And I'm glad you brought that.
I'm going to put my hand up because it's hard to get a word in with you guys. How long is the hose?
We've got 100 foot of tubing, which gives you a 200-foot circle to work in. Now, if you want to work in larger areas than this, you simply leapfrog the level, and you can record your readings. With the engineering, you can start on a number other than 0 if you want.
I got my hand up again. I have a follow-up question.
Yes.
Just about the reference point, once you lay the bulkier part of the U-level down, that has to remain still, correct? So it might be a good idea to lay that down on a skid in the center of your job site. Because once that moves,
absolutely,
you can start over.
Yes, and there's one thing that I want to clarify here. On the side of the reel, it says unwind all of the tubing fully before you use the level. You don't have to do that. The reason it says that, I have some crews initially, back many years ago, manufactured housing was where I was using the old system that I manufactured 24 years ago. It's been a while. I've been in this industry or this business for a while, not this industry. But crews would pull part of the tubing out, and they would need more. It wouldn't reach as far as they wanted. So they would just start tugging on the tubing, and they would start moving the reel, which is your reference point is based on where that reel is setting. So if you start dragging the reel across the ground, you're changing your readings. You're going to have to go back and re-zero and start again. So You don't have to unwind all of the tubing as long as you know that reel has to remain in the same spot from the beginning of the job to the ending.
Mike, we have a word around Unilock for that. The best practice would be to remove all the tubing just to make sure you don't find yourself caught. However, it's not completely compulsory.
Yes, exactly.
Some more advanced features here, map terrain and percent of slope.
Yes, this is kind of where I stopped before. What we were doing was leading up to the terrain mapping that would lead into the CAD. We actually created a file, a coordinates file, in that first little plot that I did here in the floor that would load directly into Uvision so that you would be able to create a terrain map or a contour map of the area that we were plotting. I didn't add those extra points, as Jason mentioned, interior and exterior. Those help the computer with accuracy, but if you don't know what you're doing, at that point you can make it look like spaghetti and it gets really confusing. So you need to understand how this is working with just the perimeter before we proceed on to advanced levels. Yeah, Jason. So I like the hand. That's working, man.
You mentioned Uvision. Just for people that don't know, Uvision is a design software exclusive to Unilock, and it, excuse me, you can upload all of these things right into it, and it can create a terrain for you.
Yes, and the creator,
design platform. Yep.
Yes, the creator of Uvision, Jim Napier, has worked closely with us and told us what we needed to output to make this transition smooth. So all of these systems are designed specifically to work together in the hardscape industry, specifically for the hardscape industry.
So just to jump in really quick, as you know, Jason, I'm not as technically savvy as you are. I'm
Come on.
more on the sales end than the technical end. So when we start to get into terrain mapping and percentage of slope, a lot of that stuff's over my head. Can you think of a really applicable example for those who are watching who might have a little bit lesser of an understanding of those types of measurements for, you know, where would percentage of slope, for example, be used on a kind of a day-to-day job?
Well, if you're engineering a wall system, uh, the engineers are going to want to know the percent of slope of the grade below and above the wall to properly engineer it. And also, ICPI standards for patios and driveways have a minimum slope of 2% in order for proper runoff and drainage.
Okay,
Just
perfect.
two examples that are coming to mind right now.
Yep.
Awesome, and that's figured into your measurements here. That's you don't have to do anything additional. ULevel has done that for you. So if you needed to create these percent of slope calculations and you forgot, it's done it for you. You don't even have to worry about
That's great.
So we don't want Nick doing any math.
it.
I agree. Hey, hand up, I agree.
Hey,
Well, that's one of the advantages. Anytime you do math, even simple math on a job site, you know, for these crews that do this day in and day out, most of them can do it in their head. I used to work with Lockheed Martin, and we got in a rhythm of doing some rather sophisticated calculations in our head. But you know, at the end of a 12-hour day, when everything has gone wrong and you've got to do this, that's where you get into the mistakes, and that's where this tool starts to really shine.
So we looked at this a little bit in your live demo, and I see that the compass is showing there. So great tool for reference when you go back to site, or if somebody else that didn't take the initial perimeter is there, they know how to orient themselves.
Absolutely. We have the compass built in. We also have those photos. So you have screenshots. You can take screenshots of every point on here. And in that screenshot, if you take it after you've recorded the point, it will have your height measurement here. And in this particular case, a water meter base.
Right.
And we also have a comment section. So you can record comments anywhere along. There's all kinds of ways to reference this. This is one of the advantages when I was talking with Augie and Patty Conway. I've gotten a wealth of information from them. These guys are the top in their field. Being able to orient these maps later, and especially to people that weren't on job site, is extremely important. So we've incorporated everything that we can think of now that we need into this process. And if there's something that comes out later, and there will be some things that are coming out down the pipe. I don't want to get into that because I tend to talk way on down the line. But we have some satellite mapping and things like that you'll be able to coordinate into this, and it will download to you free of charge once we do it. That's probably fall or the beginning of next year.
Mike, just to add to what you're saying really, really quickly, you've referenced Augie and Patty maybe once or twice. These are both gentlemen who work with us out of Unilock Chicago, and Patty specifically has years and years of experience in design build and in landscape construction. So for those, and Augie with contractor services and with experience on the sales side at Unilock as well, that type of experience and their input into the design and the functionality of the tool is, you know, with the contractor's best interest and their idea of what sort of functionality it needs in mind. So definitely very, very helpful to have their input, and definitely great for the end user to have that perspective.
And it's wonderful. They have years of experience dealing with contractors in many different scenarios already built in. It's not like I've got to go out, or any other engineering company has to go out and talk to all these individuals separately. Yeah, Jason.
I just want to get back on track, so we are running out of time.
We are getting long. Yeah, I tend to talk long.
No
Okay,
worries.
what you're seeing here are the line links between your points. We've got, now this wasn't what we just shot. I want to clarify that. We didn't upload that. We didn't go 8 foot here in the house. But this is the distance between point 1 and point 2. That's your percent of slope that we figured in automatically. And the level figures this on every calculation that you make. It's already built in. You don't have to do anything additional. It's just there waiting on you.
Right on. Range function.
Yes. Now what we have on this, and you might want to skip to the next slide on this, Jason, with your with your lasers and transits, you can set those on one specific point, and you know if you go high or low, they'll beep at a different frequency if you go high or if you go low. The ULevel will actually, if you set it to voice command, it will tell you how high or how low you are. It will also give you a light indication, red if you're low. That's very easy to see out in very bright light. This isn't a good photo. Blue if you're high.
Right.
You simply set the range. On this, you can see this bottom reading here. I set the range at 1/2 inch. So if you're putting fill gravel in and you want this level, what this does, it increases the base of labor that you can use.
Right.
They don't even have to look at a number now. They just have to look at a light. If you want a half inch
more efficient.
Just tell them to keep it green. If it's red, they need to add a little more fill. If it's blue, they rake a little out. It makes it super simple.
It's great.
Well, what are we looking at here?
Okay, this is we're teasing you now. We're getting you into the CAD program. From the files that we've already created, you can take that information and simply email it into your computer. This is a contour map that was created with data that was plotted with ULevel. This was actually built in Uvision. It's a very simple, smooth transition from the level all the way into the CAD program. This gives you your contour maps, your height. We've got the perimeter or our working area. It's the beginning of some really cool stuff.
That's great. Cool. So this basically you can turn that into that fairly easily.
That's exactly what happened.
That's amazing.
And this is very close to the original terrain. I should have included a picture of the original terrain in here. We'll do that in the next one when we get into CAD plotting. But this image was created, that image was created in Uvision from data imported from the ULevel.
That's awesome.
So we got about 2 minutes left, guys.
Okay, we'll wrap this up pretty quick. This is a reference for your button function once you're getting into the more advanced mapping features. Now, you saw me, we went into this screen when we created the plot. Basically, all we had to do that was, one, on the router, just makes your points. Nothing, it just takes your points and you can move on. 2, you can put a comment with your points if you want. 3, after you take 4, you have to have 4 points to create the perimeter. 3 just closes the perimeter, and that's basically in there to let the CAD program know the perimeter has been closed.
Right.
That was as far as we went. That's all you need to do. 5 closes the program. 7 at the top takes photos and adds screenshots into the program. And then once you're finished, you'll with the 5, you'll have the top will say record your readings and save your data in a folder. So this is here mainly for reference. We'll get into this in much more detail when we start getting into the CAD functionality in our next presentation.
Here's a couple of helpful links for everybody that we mentioned earlier.
Absolutely. We've got the Unilock page. If you need to order a level, if you don't have one, that's the place to go. We've got YouTubes of everything that we've gone over here. I try to keep the YouTube short to 2 minutes or less, and a video is worth so much because no matter how much detail I put into instructions, you always leave some tiny little something out that somebody needs to see. With a video, you've got it there captured. Along with frequently asked questions, this will be updated continually as we move forward. And if that doesn't satisfy you, here's my email. And like I say, email me anytime. I may not respond after hours as quickly, but I was talking to a gentleman. Well, Australia is half a world away from us. 10 o'clock last night, we were talking, trying to figure out some things.
20 seconds.
That's awesome, Mike. Well, listen, we really appreciate it. We appreciate your availability and your time today. And thank you as well, Jay. And
awesome.
Been a pleasure, gentlemen. Thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity.
We'll see you again. Thanks very much.
Take care.
Absolutely.